Hello everyone and welcome to our next flight director training video. In this video we are demonstrating how to direct the Vesuvius mission. Vesuvius is a short duration mission lasting only about 45 minutes. It takes place inside a fictional volcano and deals with geology, scientific predictions, and emergency preparedness. This video assumes you have already reviewed the flight director controls training videos and are generally comfortable with the controls. I'll demonstrate many elements in the controls here in this video, but only as far as they relate to the Vesuvius mission. As is always the case, before the mission begins, the crew should have been assigned their stations, briefed about their mission objectives, and given about 15 minutes in training mode to practice their controls. Before we dive into the mission, let me briefly review what Vesuvius is all about. Craft Island is a volcanic island with fertile soil and crystal blue bays. It's a luxury destination for the rich and the powerful. Everyone loves it, except for one man. Dr. Ash Tefra, the world's renowned volcanologist, has long been outspoken against settlements on the island. Using his own special research methods known as underground volcanology, Dr. Tefra has warned the government that a massive eruption is about to occur and that the island must be evacuated. Fellow volcanologists using more traditional methods, however, do not agree. A similar situation occurred 2 years ago. Dr. Tefra predicted an eruption of massive proportions and the island was evacuated, but the eruption never occurred. Angry citizens lodged complaints against the government for economic loss. Dr. Tefra was humiliated and his reputation took a severe hit, but now he's making the same prediction. An eruption is imminent. The government is concerned for its citizens' safety, but even so, it does not want a needless evacuation. To clear matters up, the government has called upon the Infinity Knights, the renowned protectors of peace and justice throughout the universe, to help. They must travel beneath the surface of Craft Island, explore its volcanic conduits, and determine whether an evacuation is necessary, before it's too late. So that's the background. Now let's show you how to run the mission. Once the crew is ready to begin, go to the mission panel and use the handy tools in the lower portion of the screen. End training mode, which will reveal the Infinity Knights hangar bay on the main view screen. Call the crew as the Admiral and ask if they have any last-minute questions before their mission. Remind the captain that the mission is of the utmost importance and that diplomacy is key. Then, select Vesuvius from the mission list and press the Begin Mission button. This will play an animation sequence and transport the ship to the volcanic crater in Craft Island. Allow the crew to begin navigating down the volcanic shaft. The crew is looking for evidence to confirm or refute Dr. Tefra's claim that the volcano is active. Let the crew begin thinking about what they need to look for. Encourage some discussion between the crew about volcanoes by speaking from the engine room as the mechanic.
Aye, so what do you think, Captain? Is this volcano going to blow? How would we find out? What does your crew think?
There's really only one way to go, down, so the crew will likely head that direction immediately. If not, prompt them to get moving. After a minute or two, call the crew as the Craft Island government. Remind the crew about the consequences that hang in the balance of their conclusion. Great economic loss for the island if an unwarranted evacuation happens, and significant loss of life if an evacuation is needed but does not occur. Time is of the essence. Ask to be kept informed. Now it's time to call the crew as Dr. Tefra. By way of background, unbeknownst to the crew, Dr. Tefra has lined the bottom of the volcano with explosives to ensure that an eruption occurs and his reputation as the world's leading volcanologist is restored. He's the only scientist who dares ventures into volcanoes, so now the presence of the Infinity Knights threatens to reveal his treacherous plan. He wants to stop the crew from entering the volcano at all costs. Call the crew as Dr. Tefra. Insist that for their own safety, the crew should leave the volcano immediately. It is active and unsafe for anyone other than himself to enter the volcano. Also explain that one of Dr. Tefra's probes is still down there and is malfunctioning, which presents another threat to the crew's safety. Urge them to withdraw immediately.
Infinity Knights, you must leave the volcano. It is active and ready to blow. I'm the only one that knows it well enough to traverse safely, and even now I would not be down in it. If you still insist on going down the volcano, I must let you know something that is a slight embarrassment to me. One of my probes, it's malfunctioned, which I'm sorry, will be a threat to you and your crew. I tried making it as hardy as possible and added some features to keep it safe, in the deep recesses of the volcano. I'm afraid these same features will make it dangerous for you. Please, for your safety, leave the volcano. Dr. Tefra out.
The mission must not be stopped, so the crew will disregard Dr. Tefra's warning and continue downward. Halfway down the conduit, the crew will arrive at an intersection. Speaking as the mechanic or a computer, explain that the junction leads toward a sealed branch pipe under the ocean's surface. Encourage the crew to explore it. When the crew enters the branch pipe, create Dr. Tefra's malfunctioning probe for the crew to encounter. Do this by selecting the green plus sign icon and then clicking Create. The probe contains a file that alludes to Dr. Tefra's sinister plan. Encourage the hacker to hack the probe before the gunner destroys it. If the crew destroys the probe before getting its file, that's fine. But if they do retrieve the file, make sure that the communications officer reads it, and the crew thinks about what it means. After dealing with the probe, the crew will find a sill blocking the branch pipe. Come on as the mechanic and explain that it was caused during a previous eruption, and that the ocean lies beyond it. This isn't conclusive evidence about the volcano's activity. Urge the crew to continue their downward exploration of the volcano.
Oi, Captain, look over there. That's a sill. It probably formed during a previous eruption. The ocean lies beyond it. That sill isn't proof of any recent activity, though. We better keep moving down.
Dr. Tefra continues to interfere with the ship as they persist in their exploration. He's on the surface, so the best he can do is send them messages, as he did earlier, or hack the ship, as he does now. Normally, hacks are initiated by specific characters in the scene. In cases where the character isn't present in the scene, like this one, simply go to the dashboard to the hacking display over here, and click on the gray text. This will begin a hack for the cybersecurity station to deal with. Hacks against the ship can damage the main computer automatically, but feel free to narrate damage to other systems, such as the shields. There's a bit of traveling in this mission, so keep things interesting by increasing the tension and adding some drama. As the crew dives deeper into the volcano, indicate that the ship's systems are beginning to overheat. Damage a few systems, create coolant issues, and inflict medical emergencies on a crew member or two. At this point, we want to send the crew a message from the Craft Island government following up about their progress. This message is pre-written in the handy tools, but you can change the text if you'd like. In most cases, you can just send it off the way it is. Also, feel free to call them so they can share their progress. When the crew enters the magma chamber, call them as Dr. Tefra and give them a forceful warning to leave immediately.
Infinity Knights, now you have crossed the line from brave to foolhardy. The magma may erupt at any time, and I assure you that even your ship will not survive the encounter. For your safety, please leave.
When the crew arrives at the bottom of the magma chamber, they will discover a series of explosives lining the chamber floor. Let the crew discuss what this implies. Come on as the mechanic.
What? Those are explosives! Why are there explosives in a volcano? Who did this? Why? What should be done about it? I'll be working here, making sure the ship is ready for action.
Let them stew over that for a few minutes. Hopefully they should reach the conclusion that Dr. Tefra did it, since he is the only one that could get down there. Then call the crew as Dr. Tefra again.
I told you not to keep going. I said it was unsafe. Now many innocents will have to suffer.
Cut off. Let them scramble for a moment and then come on as the mechanic.
We need to call the Craft Island government. They need to know about this.
When the crew tries to warn the Craft Island government, indicate that the signal's being jammed as the computer.
Signal being jammed. Signal blocked.
Come back on as Dr. Tefra.
Sorry, Infinity Knights. You can't. You can't ruin my reputation. I don't want my reputation destroyed again.
Continue to speak to the crew as Dr. Tefra. Explain his devious scheme to protect his reputation by making sure the volcano erupts. Blame the crew for interfering and causing the needless death of thousands. By interfering, they leave Dr. Tefra with no choice. He must detonate the explosives early before people can evacuate, because his reputation will be destroyed if the crew exposes him. Explain that there is nothing that the crew can do to save the island, and regrettably they must be destroyed in the volcano too.
You know, eventually they would have listened to me. Everyone would have listened to me. the island would have been evacuated, and when everyone was safely off the island, boom! It erupts. Okay, so I make it erupt, but the results are the same. My reputation is fully restored. But no, they went behind my back and contacted the Infinity Knights. Just to confirm, they said, adding to my shame. I tried to stop you. I tried warning you. I tried distracting you. But here we are. You know, and because of you, my dear island and everyone on it will be destroyed. I'll have to detonate this to destroy you, and there won't be time to evacuate, but at least my reputation will be restored. Thousands of people will die, and their deaths will be on your heads.
Then go to the handy tools and click on the Detonate Bombs button. This will trigger a sequence of explosions, and then a giant wall of lava will begin surging up the volcano. Immediately urge the crew to turn around and race away from the lava as fast as possible. While retreating, guide the crew in thinking about what they can do to save the island. The ship alone is not equipped to stop the eruption.
Captain, we might be able to escape, but what about the people on the island? They don't have any idea on what's happening. I wish our ship were equipped to stop an eruption, but I think we'll just have to think creatively on this one.
Hopefully the crew will think of a solution, and if not, suggest it to them. They can blast through the sill at the end of the branch pipe to flood the conduit and let it erupt into the sea.
What if we blast through the sill? The onslaught of water might help, but more importantly, it would let the eruption follow a different path.
While the crew races towards the sill, narrate the events to maintain a high sense of drama. If needed, create a variety of other problems like medical emergencies, heat-related system failures, etc. But keep the ship moving so it doesn't get engulfed by the lava. The computer is a great narrating tool.
Warning, internal temperature is beyond safety limits. The heat is affecting ship functions. Shield failure. Medical emergency.
You can say so much more, so have fun with it. As long as the ship is moving at top speed, the lava will follow it closely behind, but it's not likely to catch up to it unless the ship stops. Make sure the engines and reactor aren't damaged, and be prepared to override the helm if the pilot is having a hard time keeping the ship straight. Also, every time the ship crosses into a new scene, the lava must be manually reactivated with the Create Lava button down here in the handy tools. This gives you a chance to give the crew a bit of an extra lead in front of the lava if they need it. Simply wait a few more seconds after they enter a new scene before creating the lava again. When the crew arrives at the sill, let them fire off their weapons to blow open the side vent. The crew can destroy the sill themselves with their weapons. You can destroy it manually, or you can use the handy tools to do it. When the sill is destroyed, the lava will disappear and water will flood into the conduit. Try to time the action so the wall of lava is right behind the crew when the sill finally opens. Also, try to make the ship as close to the brink of destruction as possible. Narrate the action as the computer or mechanic so everyone knows what is going on. I'll use the computer.
The structural integrity of the sill is at 45%. Warning, ship-wide systems failure. Temperatures levels are critical. The sill has been destroyed. Ocean water is flooding the conduit. Activating emergency return portal. All hands stand by for emergency evacuation in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Activate the emergency return portal to bring the crew back to headquarters. Call the crew as the Admiral and give them the results of their mission. The crew will likely be excited, but slightly unsure whether they pulled it off or failed at the last minute. So pump them up with their victory.
Captain, you made it! I just received word that your heroic actions diverted the flow of the lava into the sea. You stopped the eruption from reaching the surface. You saved Craft Island from destruction. Congratulations, Captain and crew, for successfully completing your mission. Give yourselves a big round of applause.
Play the victory music and let the crew congratulate themselves as they leave the ship. And that's Vesuvius! Thanks for watching this training video, and we'll see you next time.